WEFM, the clean fresh sound. WEFM, the clean fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
The time is 8:50 and welcome back to Activated Mornings. This morning you're listening to Ari and Christal. We're Activated Mornings. So if you were tuned in yesterday, you would have heard a discussion between Release and I relating to the police town halls and walkthroughs and whether or not we believe that they are effective, because so far we had only heard from Calico in terms of news reports, where a resident had explained her lack of faith in confidentiality within the police force and went on to say that I believe that since then that would have been addressed, or at least a hierarchy would have made attempts to have the public become more confident in its officers. Since then, we've seen another news report where an Otley Hall man urged police to act on complaints about violent crimes. And I'm reading from IWN. An Otley Hall resident has urged the police to deal with residents' complaints about what might appear to be petty manners, saying doing so can prevent more serious crimes. The man, who said he is referred to as Forces Monster Tall Boy Bandwaist, noted at the police town hall meeting in Edinburgh on Thursday that the police were asking the public to cooperate with them. But sometimes when you do not act on information that you might see as petty, it could fall into big issues. Forces told the open forum of the town hall meeting, which was attended by senior police officers, including the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Frankie Joseph, and Head of Criminal Investigations Department, Superintendent Christal Francis. The resident said that one of his trucks was set on fire last year and he reported the matter to the police, telling them who the suspected culprit was. He said, I gave them the evidence, but it seems like the information I got was too expensive to deal with. He added that the arsonist left behind the bottles that contained the gasoline used to set the vehicle ablaze. I was also watched CSI, so I know the evidence would have been on that bottle and that would have implicated the person who burned my truck, Forces said. Christal, you have anything to say regarding that last part he said there? He was what CSI, so he know that evidence is there and could implicate the person who burned his truck.
Let me ask you, why you stop there and ask me that question? It sounds like you have something to say.
I definitely have something to say regarding that.
Because you normally reach you like most of the time, and now you're being specific about this part. You say what you want to say.
I think that for you to watch CSI and compare the resources that the officers have in CSI and all these things to run forensic fingerprint analysis, the technologies that they have, and compare it to the citizens that are going to these police force, it's not fair to the officers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines police force. It's a bit comical. I understand how we feel. It's comical.
Is it comical because we don't have the resources? Is it comical because we don't have the resources?
Where they're supposed to find that technology?
So the comical is at the police and not necessarily at him.
Even do forensic here in St. Vincent?
We should.
We should.
There is some level of forensics that happens, but for it to be like fully functional, I think access to a forensics lab, easy, quick access to a forensics lab has to be in place. In addition to that,
cost money.
Right?
These things cost money.
Yeah, but the 4 Windward Islands could come together and form a forensics lab that services first and foremost the 4 Windward Islands, and that's just an example. Just like how we turn to CAFA for the region and other regional entities for assistance, you can have a conglomerate that serves different islands if it's not that one country can't afford it. Just The same way we talk about CSME and CARICOM, we could come together and try to resolve the problem. It doesn't necessarily have to be a solution for St. Vincent and Grenadines alone. It could be for other countries. So there's a way around everything. Hello.
You see, I'm pretty
but
sure that's the current system in place because the forces went on to say that the police told him that the bottles would have to be sent to Trinidad for analysis.
Okay, there you go. Trinidad. Trinidad.
But that's usually how it goes. It's either being sent to Barbados and Trinidad. But how, I don't know. I am not in the legal service. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I do not practice law. But how can you send something to another Caribbean country and the chain of evidence is not being questioned? We don't know what's happening in Trinidad. You don't know if somebody's trying to frame somebody with something or if the evidence is being tampered with. You're just going off the good faith that it's sent to Trinidad, it's properly dealt with in Trinidad, then it's sent back to St. Vincent and it's properly dealt with customs and all these things in St. Vincent. We don't know that.
So we could question CAFA then in the same argument. We don't know if there's been tampering with the evidence. We don't know if we really recorded XYZ number of positive and negative COVID cases, right?
Listen, COVID is a whole other kind of what I'm saying. Yeah,
I'm going based off your principle. Trust.
I have the same principle, but I don't going down the whole COVID argument because then I might come off as a conspiracy theorist. I didn't believe in the vaccine. I still don't believe in the vaccine, and I don't believe that the reported number of cases were accurate and all these things. But then when you start these discussions, they don't end there. So that's why I'm trying to stay away from it. But I do have the same issue of trust.
If okay, and the second part there, I don't know why this morning I'm losing my train of thoughts. Maybe I should just like talk straight through. But I don't think he's like 100% wrong. It'll be very lovely for us to have these things at our disposal. Practicality might be an issue. I thought that you were also alluding to, maybe I can say because I've watched many years of Grey's Anatomy, I know certain things about medicine, you know. Maybe I thought that was the road you were going down. The other part of the forensics there, yes, I remember now, is the law. The law has to be amended. Like fingerprinting and what's not, the law has to be amended.
Okay. I do think, right, that the general argument that he is having, he is correct. That the smaller complaints, the non-violent crimes, the issues that police officers consider to be petty, they need to take more seriously. We often joke around and say, if a woman beats me up, if a woman assaults me, whether sexually or otherwise, or physically, police not going to take you serious with your complaint. If you and your neighbor custom to have disagreements and you go to the police station, they're going to dismiss it as a petty matter. They're not going to really look into it. But then if it escalates and then I chop my neighbor chop me, or it leads to an extreme case of violence, that is when it becomes an issue. And I think this is the point that Forces was trying to bring out, that when you dismiss these petty complaints, or what you term to be petty complaints about non-violent crimes, it can then escalate into something bigger and you could just nip it in the bud right there.
Okay. I take the point, I take the argument, but in addition to that, the people could also take it upon themselves to nip those things in the bud. There are some crimes that don't have to be resolved with police intervention. I'm not saying crimes. There are some things, some occurrences, some disputes and disagreements that do not have to call for the intervention of the police. If you had proper negotiation skills, if you could control your emotions a little bit better, if you don't get too feisty, too riled up unnecessarily, to deal with things as they come and not hold things back for like years upon years and then lash out to people. Maybe it is that you could resolve certain things then and there before they even escalate on a non-police intervention scale, if you understand what I'm saying. So in addition to the police playing their part, the people also need to come into that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The funny thing is that Forces, the last thing said in the article was, to him, Otley Hall is a peaceful village, although it has little crime up here. I'm gonna say it again. Otley Hall is a peaceful
First of
village,
all, you must stop that.
although it has
Stop
little
that.
crime.
Stop
Although
that.
it has little crime up here.
Stop
Hey,
that. Compared
oh
to like
God.
the United States of America, it has extremely little
Do
crime.
not, you cannot compare somewhere with better technologies, a much larger population to crimes here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines with a population of 100,000. You can't, that is not a fair
Who you talking to me?
comparison. That's
You
not what
talking
you
to
say
me?
compared to America.
Oh, well, you missed my point. You missed
What
my
did you
point.
say? What did you say?
I said, she said, right? Otley Hall has little crime,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? That's his point. And then I said, compared to the United States of America, Otley Hall does in fact have little crime.
That's what I heard you say.
Right, that's what I said.
But the time
I
is
ain't talking about crime solving, eh? I'm not talking about crime solving. I said the act.
I know you can't compare St. Vincent crimes to larger countries.
I just did. I'm just he is right. When they compare it to America,
He is not right. He is not. Maybe if you compare to other villages in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we have seen an uptick in Otley Hall over the past few months, and it's been that way for years. Otley Hall and Edinburgh have been a little. Yeah, but I was curious as to whether or not these town hall meetings have been successful. And I'm happy to hear that persons are giving the feedback and giving how they truly feel. And I'm hoping that their voices are being heard by the members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force.
yeah. And you see, when people take the time to stand up and speak out, they must be given the opportunity to just air their views, right?
Definitely.
Now
Definitely.
he could as well be correct. Just because a community is known for certain crimes and you might hear them every Monday, Tuesday, or every month, it doesn't mean that in totality that community is known as having the highest number of crimes in the entire island. Because when we
Yeah.
think of crimes, we're thinking about shootouts, we're thinking about robberies, but there are other crimes that are committed that some other communities have been trending for as well. And might as well be that we don't hear about them, but they are also like very well known within the police force as being high in certain areas. So
Well, that's a fair assessment to make.
man ain't wrong.
I won't go that far. Well, we have to break now for our ECCB currency exchange rates, followed by our lottery results, then our nostalgia, and we'll be back at 9:20 with our Talk to Me segment. Unfortunately, Christal, you won't be joining us for the Talk to Me.
I'm sorry, but I want to wish everybody a happy and blessed Holy Weekend and the rest of the Holy Week. Tomorrow is Holy Thursday, then Good Friday, Easter Sunday, and then Easter Monday. For those of you who celebrate it, I hope that this period of remembrance and reverence gives light to maybe something that's happening.
Oh, my days. That is 100% a miss.
And that you have
Yeah.
a good time at church and maybe within your movements that you can actually save somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
Take care and have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you, Christal. So coming up, we have our